So to anyone listening interested in telling better stories, the first thing that I need you to do is first of all understand who you're telling your story to. Understand the heck out of your story's recipient, because it's so important to the process. If you do not know who you're speaking to, you cannot know what words appeal to them. You cannot know what scenarios to paint. You cannot know how best to convert them. So you need to first of all understand who you're telling your story to. That's the first thing that I feel like every business should know.
When you do all these, of course, this is perfectly laced into the storytelling strategy that you don't tell the people, okay, you can buy whenever you want. No, it's not going to work. If you tell the people, if you give the people the option to or not to, they will not decide. No? But if we tell the story very well now, we help the people to understand that this is important. It's important to take action now.
Big question for you, ladies and gentlemen. When you open your mouth to tell a story, what imagination rings a bell in your mind? You want to sound like Hannah. You want to be so energetic like Hannah. You want your voice to come off like my own. This is my real voice. If you could see my face, I would have said this is my real face. And the same thing with Les Brown, the same thing with Mr. Eni, the same thing with Obehi. Attempting to be like these guys in any company you get into would lead you into taking the company from a level of confusion to a certain level of confusion. Your first assignment as a salesperson, leveraging storytelling, is not to go on Google. Your first assignment is to look inward to be able to know if you have that capacity within yourself.
Hello and thank you for checking out this video. I'm Obehi Ewanfoh, the host of the Business Storytelling Audio Series event. The event is held on LinkedIn every 2 weeks where we talk about different ways we can leverage the power of storytelling in our business and professional life. If this is your first time of hearing about this event, I encourage you to join us in the next one. I help entrepreneurs and professionals to own their story so they can attract the right audience and drive success. I'm the author of the Storytelling Mastery, a 5-part book series that takes you by the hands through the ABC of storytelling. If you find that interesting, you can claim the first chapter for free at aclasses.org/free chapter. Now back to today's conversation. I think I was reading an article on Forbes a couple of weeks ago. Let me see if it's still there. What was it? It was said that marketing is all about telling a story. And I think that is true. Is that when you are in marketing, if you are a good marketer, you are essentially a storyteller. You need to tell story to help you connect to people. Of course, data can also be good. I know the 20% can also be very important. I know that the statistics are going to be very important. But if you are looking for a way to connect to the human heart, it is very important that we tell story, because a story is an ancient form of communication. It has been there forever. It's a way that helps two hearts to connect. So it is very important for us that we learn how to tell story and tell better story in our businesses. That is how we connect.
All right. First of all, thank you so much for coming to this room. We are back with a bang in 2024 with the storytelling series. So for those who don't know me, I am Tanya Kabuya. I am a revenue operation and go-to-market expert, and I also dabble as a fractional chief marketing officer for tech-enabled companies and tech startups. And I lead a revenue enablement company where we help companies grow, particularly tech companies and tech-enabled companies, grow their revenue and also make their operations much more efficient so that they can make more money, keep more profits, and also take over the market. So when it comes to storytelling, I'm a huge proponent of storytelling because I started my business by writing on Facebook. So I come from copywriting. I was a copywriter, and I started writing on Facebook, telling stories, leveraging stories from movies, from books that I had read, and pulling lessons from it. And that's how I started getting the interest of the market that I was trying to serve at the time, coaches and course creators, and I was helping them with that. And that's how I started getting clients. So I'm a huge proponent of stories. And I believe that it is one of those tools that when you have it and when you leverage it well, and you are a good storyteller, you're far more persuasive as a business because you're not only speaking to the logical part of the brain or the logic in selling your products. Because most of the time, there's something that one of my mentors said the other day where he was saying that most of the time when people are trying to sell, they're trying to leverage benefits. They will share the benefits of what they have and try to convince people to buy. Whereas when you start telling stories around your products, around your services, around how it solves people's problems, as well as what it creates as results, you're no longer convincing. You're giving the fact in a way, the way the market can understand and picture themselves in the situation, and that leads to them making the decisions on their own that I want to do business with Annie, or I want to do business with Anna or Obehi. So it's no longer a chase situation, it is a pull situation. And you see it very well in the luxury market. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, all of them, Chanel, they are really fantastic at storytelling. Because if you pull a magazine and you see an ad of, let's say, I'll say Louis Vuitton, because I recently saw one, you will not see them tell you about how much the leather is good, how good the leather, they use the best leather. No, they show you a picture of a woman maybe on a trip wearing Louis Vuitton. That is a story. So when you master the art of storytelling, you master the art of getting the market to open their wallets.
Thank you so much for that. That is so powerful. And of course, any of us, any of us who have listened to television, I want to believe that there is one person here or two who have who have watched the television or listened to radio at least one time in your life. You know that when the ad come, they're not really like saying, it costs $2 or $5. They're essentially telling you story. And like Tanya is saying, if you are looking at the luxury, they are basically showing you how it works. BMW doesn't come and say, okay, our latest release, it costs $50,000. No, they just show you how the solution they have created in the market is resolving a problem. Maybe there is a snow, people are just outside. They are looking for how do we get across from here. Then you see somebody riding, enjoy, just cruising around. Then it's giving you this sensation of how you can feel if you are inside that. And of course, that is within the realm of business. What about when you go to the cinema to see a film? You see, they are basically selling you the experience so that it connects to you. It connects better than when it is the statistics. So yeah, that is clear, is to the point. There is no need to debate about it. Every other day, storytelling beats data. So it is important that we know how to tell it very well so we can sell more. Mr. Bukari, don't worry, we are coming to you shortly. All right, so I pass the mic to Abimbola. Abimbola, please go ahead and tell the people who you are.
So my name is Abimbola Olani. I'm from Nigeria. I am a creative content writer and I'm a brand storyteller. I write quality content and copies to help business and personal brand gain visibility and boost their sales using their brand story. So if you want to transform your business, you want it to grow, you can hit me up. My DM, I'm a DM away. All right, concerning the topic of today, wow, sales is a process. We all know what sales is, but sales is a process or an avenue of exchanging your goods and services for money. It's all about activities that go on in business. Somebody needs your product, somebody needs your service. They reach out to you, you give them your product, and you collect money. That's what sales is in effect. And one thing about sales is, for sales to happen, there must be communication. There must be effective communication. You are able to communicate the availability of your product and service to your customers or to your prospects. You are able to communicate the values of your product and service, the benefits that they stand to gain when they maybe subscribe to your channel or buy your product or your service. You are communicating, you are able to communicate that value to them before sales can happen. And one of the ways with which you can communicate, because communication can be in different ways. You can communicate via writing, you can communicate via audio, you can communicate through podcasts. And one of the ways with which you can make that communication really effective is using storytelling. Storytelling is a powerful tool that we have all come to realize as of today, that you can use storytelling to get to your audience. You connect with them emotionally. Sales happen because many people buy emotions. You don't just go to people and start giving them figures and facts. But when you are able to connect to their emotion, you have already gotten them. And one of the ways with which you can do that is through storytelling. Storytelling, when you tell stories, maybe of somebody that bought your product, somebody subscribed to your channel or to your maybe a program you're doing, or maybe came to a workshop of yours and they got so and so result, people are moved. Your stories of success, the stories of other people, how people got better, how their life improved as a result of the product and service that you render, is one of the ways to get to your audience. I mean, to get to your customers and get them to, you are able to build trust with them, and you are able to influence their purchasing behavior. So storytelling is very, very important when it has to do with sales, because with it you are able to sell without being pushy. You don't have to be pushy. Just tell the story, the authentic story, and people will be connected with it. They will be able to relate, and it's memorable. So that's what I just have to say in a nutshell. Thank you so much, Obehi.
Thank you so much, Abibola. That is very important. I think you and Tanya, you are using the word pushy now. I think people should be paying attention to that. That when you tell good story, which is what we are talking about today, when you tell better story, you don't need to be pushy. Because in the market, all of us know we are in the online space. We know how much people are busy out there pushing and pushing and pushing. So what we are therefore offering is the ability to connect so that you don't need to push. People know who you are. They buy because they trust you, because they know you, they know who you represent. So you don't need to push to them anymore. In fact, I think when we tell our story well, if people understand who we are and what we represent, particularly as it concerns them, not just as it concerns us, because they see the value that we are putting in the market, that it relates to them, is something that they can support, they will support us any day. And which means that whenever we bring a new product to the market, we don't need to over push it. We don't need to over sing it, because they already know, we already have a customer base that trusts us, that want to do business with us. And business is nothing more again now than adding value. So the question is, the value that we are adding to the market, how relevant it is to the people that we are rendering it to, and how are we able to convey that to them through the story that we are telling. So I want to really write that down, that if we tell our story well, we don't need to be pushy. So thank both of you for laying emphasis on that, for underlining that for us. Thank you so much for that. All right, so I'm passing the mic to Hannah in Dachaba. Anna, please go ahead and tell the people who you are. Of course, what is your first take on today's conversation? How better storytelling can lead to more sales? And I think a lot of people like that. I'm really very serious. They like that.
Of course, people want to make more sales. But hello, everyone. My name is Hannah Idachaba, and I'm a brand storyteller, and I'm also a personal brand strategist. If you're joining this time, I hope you take away something valuable for today from today's conversation. But I have to say, like, there's been so much value already from the past speakers, and I have to say, well done to Tanya and Abimbola for such wonderful shares. I will start today's conversation around sales, and I think a major perception people have about sales. First thing I want to say is when people hear sales, I feel like a lot of the times they feel like the conversion happens when the person gives the card number, or pays or purchases that item. However, the conversion in sales first starts with the mind, in the mind, just to say that. A lot of the times conversations have been had, internal dialogues have been had prior to the person, purchasing that item or showing interest in that product. So a lot of the times we don't focus on those internal dialogues that your potential clients have. And so one way to sort of address those internal dialogues is through storytelling, and how you tell the stories in ways that that person feels like, just like Tanya was saying, that they were the initiator of that decision, whereas you've led them to that decision. A lot of the times when I write storytelling for sales, one thing that I have at the back of my mind is, how do I anticipate what my ideal client is thinking? So I have to go ahead of them to say, okay, what are the drawbacks? What do they have at the back of their minds? So the reasons why they might not want to make that purchase or make that move or buy into that package, or you buy that course, or whatever that is that you're selling. And so you have to tailor your storytelling in ways that not only addresses what the problem is, but also plays and paints a picture that is clear enough that your ideal client sees themselves in your story, and also give them a solution. So you're saying, I hear you, I see you, this is what you're going through, these are the emotions that you're feeling, and this is how I can help you. And this is going back to what has already been discussed. A big part of storytelling is the emotional connection. And a lot of the times people think when you're writing for copywriting, you use the same format, which is true. You still have the underground structure that you use. However, when it comes to storytelling for sales, you need to realize that you need to play into the emotional side of your reader. And I love that it's been addressed a lot, but it's the truth. You need to address the emotional side. How do you do that? Paint a picture of what your ideal customer might be going through. For instance, paint a picture of frustration. Maybe that's how they feel when they're queuing. Maybe that's how they feel when they don't have the item that you're selling. And then paint a picture of the satisfaction that they're going to get when they're using said product or service. That's why in a lot of the storytelling that I do for sales, I paint a lot of pictures. It needs to be so clear that your ideal customer can see themselves essentially going through the scenario that you're painting, the story that you're telling. So that's why it sort of takes a focus of from me, which a lot of people do, to them. So a lot of the times people focus on my story, my hero's journey, which is good. Well, there's a space for that. However, when you are speaking to people who have needs and you're saying to them, I can essentially help you with your needs, you need to let them know that you see them, you're speaking to them, you're saying the story in a way that they see themselves, can play into it, they can envision themselves in the story that you're telling. Say you're telling a story of somebody who has to wake up around 5 a.m. and you're saying to them, I can give you a reason why you don't have to wake up that early. So now you can sleep in. But you're not just saying you can sleep in, you're saying now you can have that extra hour tossing in your bed. You don't have to wake up that early anymore. So you're just going from the generic copy writing sort of structure that people have to a more in-depth connection, emotional connection, to a more in-depth analysis of where they're at, emotional connections, using words, terms, using scenarios, using locations that they can see themselves in. And that's one way to really, really use storytelling for sales and conversion. And I love that people are here for sales. I mean, who doesn't want to have more money? I know I do. Another thing that I will say is that aside just like telling your story, you also need the sense of urgency. You need to include that because that's what makes a difference. Somebody could say, well, I don't have the means right now, so I can wait, right? I can wait till I need your service. But you need to tell your ideal customer, you need it now and you need to get it right now. You need to put that sense of urgency so they see the need to want to get the product. If you're saying to them, oh, you can wait 1 year before you get the product, what you're giving them is time for them to relax or even forget about your product or service. But when you're saying you need the service, you need the product right now, you're creating that sense of urgency. And that's what leads to ultimately conversion in sales. I hope this helps somebody listening to us right now, to me right now. But I always have my DMs open. Pop me a message anytime if you need to send any message, and I'll be sure to respond. And I'm also here listening to what everybody else has to say. And it's always a pleasure, Obehi. I mean, it's always a pleasure to be here. And I'm always honored to be in the midst of such wonderful speakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you so much for that. And thank also to those who have spoken and those who are yet to speak. You see, this is really very energetic, no? In this time of the day, as we sort of reignite the fire that is burning inside of us. And also because we believe sincerely in what we are doing. I say it often that we're not here just because we don't have anything to do. All of us are business owners in our different camp. And we are here because we believe that what we are doing is useful, is relevant, is important to the community, to our people who are looking for ways to have better, to make better sales, and of course to amplify their message. But this time, not the pushy. This time, not the just raising alarm, but it helps people to understand that you are important. I understand you. I know you. I know what you are going through. And by the time we do this, like the people are saying, it becomes easier for us. We don't need to tell the people, buy. They need to sometimes ask you, what is the equivalent of what you are doing for me in terms of the dollar, in terms of the amount of the dollar. So I think that is really very important there. But I also like what you were saying there, Anna, that when you do all this, of course, this is perfectly laced into the storytelling strategy that you don't tell the people, okay, you can buy whenever you want. No, it's not going to work. If you tell the people, if you give the people the option to or not to, they will not decide, no? But if we tell the story very well now, we help the people to understand that this is important. It's important to take action now. It is absolutely important. I remember, for example, doing a bit of insurance sales here in Italy. I did that. Of course, I did some training for that. That when we make a call, tell somebody we are coming to visit, we usually never tell them, hey, I'm going to sell you something. Hey, I have something to share with you. And when you get there, you never just come with whatever it is that you are having in your luggage. Hey, come, I want to sell something for you. It doesn't work like that, particularly when you are selling an invisible product like insurance. And, you know, one of the thing really is that maybe you are selling insurance for car because people don't understand that this is obligatory, at least here where we are. It is obligatory that you have insurance, your car insurance, otherwise your car cannot work on the road. But when you are talking of life assurance, as it is, that you are going to be paying something every month, but this thing, you are never going to get a benefit. But when you die, somebody is going to benefit from that. You see, that is the message. But you never pass the message like that, that is black and white. No, people are not going to really react. But you are going to look for a way that to start with what they call the small talk. We start talking about you, your family, your dog, if you have a dog, or you have a passion, we talk about your passion if you have any. Then from there, we gradually move into, okay, in the eventuality that something might happen, then of course we put the message to you, and you are the one revealing what you really feel inside. Then by the time we are connected one-on-one in terms of the emotion, everything becomes easier at the end of the day, and then we start taking out the information that we have inside whatever we keep then in the suitcase, and start telling you, okay, this is what it cost. Then it becomes easier at the end of the day. But if we take storytelling out of that, it's going to be pretty difficult to do, because you are not buying a coffee. You just pay €1 and they give you the coffee. You are paying, you are not seeing what you are paying for. So that is not an easy thing, you see. So storytelling helps us to cross over those blockages. All right, this is what we are here for. When you tell better story, you will make more sales. That is true. So I will pass the money to Annie. Annie, so could you please tell the people who you are and what is your take that better storytelling can lead to more sales? Please go on, my brother.
When you speak further down the line, like we are, like Miss Easy is going to do next, I'm sure, you know,
you realize everyone pretty much said many of the important things that need to be said. And I think I love Abimbola's point about you actually need to talk to people to tell stories. I think that's so important, so many of us miss the fact that story is a way to relate to people. Now, if I'm trying to get you to buy into my service, the first thing I've got to do, much like Hannah mentioned, is get you to buy into me. Again, telling when there's some, if someone doesn't like you, my friends, they're not going to buy from you. Someone doesn't trust you, they're not going to buy from you. No matter how good your product, your product is. But part of the reason is because they forget everything you tell them. And without that sense of relationship, that sense of, oh, this person understands me, this person understands my problem. So again, I loved Hannah's point about we have to work with the questions that people have in their minds. But what's they asking themselves as you're talking? What's stopping them buying? What's stopping them saying yes? What's the price? How do I pay? That's what your stories really will do. Your stories will move people beyond where they are, nearer to, I know this person. This person knows me. This person has the experience I need. This person really loves what they do, and I know how to do what they do. Storytelling. When we talk about it over here, it can sound like an add-on, something that we do in addition to what we do normally. But I think storytelling is what we should be doing normally. Yeah, storytelling is what we should be doing every day. So now make sure when I speak to anyone, I find a place for a story. I don't try and contrive one. If someone asks you a question about how do you do this or that, tell them a story. I met with clients yesterday, and everyone, literally, it's about 10 stories. There's no point speaking factually, as Obehi mentioned. No one remembers your features and benefits. What they remember is who have you helped? How have you helped them? What difference have you made to their lives? And am I one of those people that you can help? Of course. So tell people honestly, simply, how you've helped others. Of course, there's a lot more to storytelling than just reeling off, your me bragging stories. It's not about bragging. It's about putting your customers in the center of your business, but making people understand my business is here for you, whoever you are. So literally, if you serve many people, then you're the protagonists in your story. The people in your story are going to be a bit broader. If you have a very niche market, then you're going to talk about the people who you serve. So just focus on telling people that here's a situation that happened. Here's a challenge that came along with it. Here's how we resolved it. That could simply be a way of rather than saying to someone, "Oh, here's our mission statement." Essentially, if you can paint a picture for them of the way you really work, they'll remember that a lot more than your packaging, a lot more than your the cover of your book. So everyone wants to be engaged. They want a relationship with people that they do business with. Stories give us the avenue to have that relationship, but we have to learn how to tell good stories. The best stories come from real experience. Of course, it comes from you have to think and plan and work out, what do my customers ask me often? What do my customers struggle to understand about how we work? How are we different to others? Now, for all of these questions, my friend, craft a story or two, maybe even three, that you can use
And that way, when you're faced with different people, you can almost choose which one am I going to tell? Which one is this person going to resonate with the most? Which one applies most to their situation, to who they are, to their preference? Which one's going to get them to do the holy grail, my friend, the call to action, the conversion? Here's my card. Oh, here's my bank details. Please send the invoice. Because now, without that call to action at the end, we're just talking. And many people will listen to your stories, get entertained, walk away. So you really must have a clear focus on what your story is there to do. And make sure you learn how to tell the story that's going to get you to that point where the person you're talking to says, yes, please, I need you now. I'm ready to pay. Obehi, I could talk about storytelling all day. I think this topic brings everything we talked about in this room for the last year together, really. But I'll give the mic back to you, my brother.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much, Annie. I thank all of you that are here. Like I said before, it made me very proud of all of you because continuously, every day that we are here, it reminds me that we are doing the right thing. We are supposed to be doing this. Of course, this is something that I say also in the other room when we talk about the African diaspora. Sometimes when we are presenting our room, it feels like as if maybe some tears want to roll down my eyes, but it is true. Because we need to do this. This is our time. We need to make sure that we make our story valid. Our story is important. There is no story in this world that is more important than our own. In that you don't need to be like another person. There is no need for that. If in your speaking there is a certain inflection in you, be proud of that. For example, like the Nigerians, people will say that we have a high accent in the way that we speak. We don't need to be ashamed of that. Like it. It is you. It is who you are. Now, this is what will happen if you pretend to be an American or an English when you speak. In that you will lose your identity. In that when the people in a group are speaking, you speak like American. If it is an audio event, they will think that you are an American. That means you didn't allow the more than 200 million Nigerians to be in that room. And that is not good. So your story is important. It is good that you learn how to tell that story even in business too. Because in a business environment, you don't need to be just a number. You need to be who you are, like Eddie was saying. And of course, like many other people in the room have said so far. Give the audience the opportunity to know who you are, what you represent, and most importantly, what can you do for them? It is after this that they will ask you, okay, me, I had that problem too, because you have shared how you help other people. Storytelling is fundamental for us. And it is at the essence of communication that when we are able to communicate, then the people will know how to treat you. And of course, because I made mention of communication, who do you think I'm going to pass the mic to? I'm going to pass it to a communication expert. Izu Samuel, please tell the people who you are and what is your take on today's conversation. Remember, how better storytelling can lead to more sales. Please go ahead, my brother.
All right. So I'd like to say very big thanks to you, Mr. Obehi, for considering to put this together and having me again on your call. I don't take it for granted, And I'd like to say hello to all the beautiful souls I can see on the stage and all the people in the VIP lounge. This topic is one that takes me back to many years ago. Many years ago in the 80s and in the 90s, we had few storytellers, but there were lots of sales. We had many, many products and few storytellers, and those many products were sold effectively. But in today's world, we have many, many storytellers and just a few people who can help to drive those products and have massive sales across the globe. There are new products springing up every now and then, but just a few strategic storytellers who are able to effectively communicate the value proposition of those stories. Now, this is where I am taking this my point to, ladies and gentlemen. It's very, very simple to understand that the answer to that question is because many people have not come to understand the central value of storytelling. A few years ago, no, let me just diverse this. A few months ago, I decided to join a community called the Toastmasters International. And the Toastmasters International happens to be a platform where you learn public speaking and leadership. Um, I was there when I curated my sixth TEDx event. I had a guest from the UK come around. And 80% of the people that served in my community in the team were Toastmasters. And remember that Toastmasters happens to be a platform that was quite pivotal to leadership and effective communication. So one may want to believe that such a team would have effectively given 100%, achieving 100% results. And quite all right, the team did achieve all of those, God helping us. But this is the brain boss of my reason for sharing that story. I decided to leave that community. And the reason I decided to leave that community, especially the Nigerian version of Toastmasters International, was because of the same problem of people not understanding the central value proposition of storytelling. And I realized as I left that platform that you cannot solve a problem by being part of the system. You cannot solve a problem. You cannot solve a problem by being in the system. You must understand everything that has to do with evolution. And evolution happens to be you identifying who you are, owning your voice, appreciating what you look like and how you sound. Be able to now say, you know what? It is time to talk about these challenges. For a single moment, I want you to picture what I just did right now in your mind. What is coming to your mind? A couple of things. Politics is coming to your mind. Leadership is coming to your mind. Relationship is coming to your mind. Diverse ideas currently would probably be ringing a bell in your mind. This is exactly the power of storytelling. Storytelling takes you from a certain point to a certain point to a certain point with the mission of addressing problems. And you can't be a powerful storyteller by desiring to be like Les Brown. You can't be a powerful storyteller by desiring to be like Abimbola or Eni or Hannah or the rest of the great people, Obehi, you have on the stage. You can only become a powerful storyteller by understanding the evolution concepts that could be initiated into storytelling. That is number one. Number two, sales is 100% impossible without understanding what communication is. And communication is 98% about being able to connect with people. And connection is impossible without stories. And your assignment right here is to understand the factor of connection. And you can't connect without the evolution psychology. You must understand how to own yourself to be able to relate with some other person. The reason people fail in certain relationships is because they have not understood who they are. They are trying to force people to accept them the way they are. They are trying to get into a system and they are desiring to be like the system. And when you desire to be like the system, you can never cause any change. You can tell me when you get to a certain level, you cause a change. Before you get to that level, the system would have influenced you to start thinking like the system. And this is why if you bring this reasoning down to Nigeria, PDP, APC, you can never bring any change by APC and PDP. Even if you're Jesus Christ, you can never. It's not possible. You can't. And we must learn to tell ourselves the honest truth. So What I'm saying here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a very diverse speaker. So when you listen to me, you need to be very quiet in your soul to understand me. My point is very simple. If there is one thing I want you to take away from my conversation this moment about sales, communications, um, storytelling, and all of what, you must learn to embrace your personality for who you are and what you're about. Companies and institutions will pay you thousands and tons of dollars to hire you just to work for them. You know why? Not because of your qualifications, but because of your ability to be able to communicate your qualifications via how you have decided to own and accept who you are. Big question for you, ladies and gentlemen. When you open your mouth to tell a story, what imagination rings a bell in your mind? You want to sound like Hannah. You want to be so energetic like Hannah. You want your voice to come off like my own. This is my real voice. If you could see my face, I would have said this is my real face. And the same thing with Les Brown, the same thing with Mr. Annie, the same thing with Obehi. Attempting to be like these guys in any company you get into would lead you into taking the company from a level of confusion to a certain level of confusion. Your first assignment as a salesperson, leveraging storytelling, is not to go on Google. Your first assignment is to look inward to be able to know if you have that capacity within yourself. And when that capacity is there within yourself, you are able to explore that capacity. So, the evolution of effective communications, the evolution of your personality, the evolution of your ideology, all of those pillars would help you to be able to be a better storyteller who is able to help anybody, any institution to be able to make sales. Remember that the concept of sales has to do with the concept of solving problems. And if the concept of solving problems relates to the concept of sales, then your assignment must be on the basis of knowing how to help people to understand that you are able to help them to solve a certain problem. My name is Izu Samuel, and I believe that beyond telling a story and causing a sale, you must learn to appreciate what you are by getting on the journey of redefining your assignment and the voicing and the psychology of your relating with your stories, getting across to people and helping them to understand problem solving metrics. Over to you, Mr. Obehi.
Thank you so much, Izu. You're powerful, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you always. You see, I believe that we can read the line here now. The line is that we should find our strength. Our strength is in us. You see, permit me to digress a little bit. This is the key difference between spirituality and religion. In that religion take power away from the people and put it in an object or an institution, and the people are called upon to follow that institution. I'm not going to go beyond that because I could be offensive. Now, this is what spirituality does. It helps you to find your strength, your power. Then you can choose what you want to do with that power. It's up to you. Now, that is all I can do. That is just bracket close. Now, storytelling, as we can hear from the speaker here, they are just reminding us that we need to find our strength, our voice. You see, if you take out books like, I'm doing a small story just now. I was editing a video because I started a small series called Learning from the Masters, where I basically take out books or speakers that have really made impact in the world, and I make a video about them, sharing some tips that we can learn from them and how we can apply them in our storytelling. I was looking at the book by Dale Carnegie, How to Influence People. Now, that book is one of the most sold book in human history. Of course, you could say, I want to speak like Dai Carnegie. No, you don't need to. You don't need to speak like Dai Carnegie. You are not Dai Carnegie. What the society is requiring you to do is to be yourself. Put your face in it. There is a reason you are here. That reason is up to you to amplify. Tell the world that this is who you are. If you don't do that, you will be shortchanging humanity. It is opportunity for you to bring to this is what I brought to this world with. What is your message? You see, you can never really allow the world to experience that if you are just pretending to be like another person. Speak like him or her, or be like him. Storytelling allows you to own your voice. When you own your voice, then you become one of the geniuses. Because I want to break a bad news. Many people will never own themselves. They like to become mini slaves. Either they want to be the one that people will approve of. So that they will say, okay, you are a good boy, you are a good girl. You don't need to be a good boy or a good girl. You need to be who you are. And who you are so that can be intimidation to other people. But who cares? This is, you never have another chance to be here again. It will take the universe, nature, it will take it billions of years to reproduce you the way you are today. So this is the only time you have to be here. So be here intentionally. Own your voice. Say your, basically when we are talking about storytelling, we are basically telling you to share your experience the way it is. Help people to learn. And if you do that in business storytelling, people will see that you are not just the Me Too type of content, where people go there to basically regurgitate other content out there and just put their name in it. That is not what storytelling is. Storytelling helps you to own your face. If in your face, maybe by peradventures of accident or anything, a part of one of your eyes is blind. Now, I want you to pay attention to what one guest told me one day, that if the gods send a blind man to the war, it is expected that that blind man wins as the blind men do. You don't need to say, oh, I cannot go because I have only one eye. No, you need to go with one eye. That one eye, instead of being a problem for you, turn it into an opportunity. Because not everybody have one eye. Let the world know that because you now have one eye, you can do something extraordinary. But not like the people that have two eyes, like the people that have one eye. So storytelling helps us to do miracle. And I want us to understand that. And I also want us to really appreciate the guy who have been waiting here for a long time. That is Bukari. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you for the patience. So it's time to learn from you. Remember, the topic is this: how better storytelling can lead to more sales. What do you have to say about that?
Thank you very much. And I appreciate the compliment. I also appreciate the opportunity created for people like us and people around the world. And you pronounce my name correct. And I'm also known as Bakr, Bak, short for Bakari. And good afternoon to you all. And just before I answer your question, I would like to share words of inspiration, perhaps. So to begin with, this for me to be it's not an accident. It's by the intent of God. And you mentioned about the difference between spirituality and religion. I've got a book to do with philosophy and greatness. I've been working on that for the past three years, and I'm about to release it. And I talk about some of the issues you guys have talked about here. So and religion and spirituality are also aspects I discussed. And also saying that, I think I'll use that as a starting point. Again, my name is Bakari, also known as Bakari Dumbia and Bak Dumbia. As you can see my profile, I'm coming from a different school of thoughts. I've studied psychology. I've studied business with human resource management, business administration, and my master's is design innovation management. MSc in Design Innovation Management. And talking about storytelling, that's one of the core modules I studied. And the gentleman, Izu Samuel, you know, you touched important aspects, let me say underlying issues, sales professionals, organization, corporations, individual, and even the so-called storytellers around the world out there. They are not understanding, and I'll put with all with the other speakers, Hannah and Abimbola, and the other previous speakers. If I don't mention your name, don't take it personal. I just want to be precise with my message. So you all talk about important about push, creating a sense of urgency, and the importance of identity, and how we need to connect emotions and everything. And then with the previous gentleman, Izu talked about. I took notes. Talk about one of the key aspects when it comes to storytelling and sales. Well, let me say selling product or services. Talk about the central value proposition, and have been helping businesses and organizations, social entrepreneurs around the world behind closed doors. Um, I was just on the verge to release my book and my website last year, and my mom passed away in May. So I look back, and Obehi, you talked about in April 12th, to be precise. I almost passed away. I shared a story with some of my followers on social media. And if you check on my profile, Baktumbe, on Facebook, you see I pin it. So I was fasting for 3 days. So I haven't had food. I haven't had, let me say, solid food for the past 3 days, because every year I normally cleanse myself, because it's very important, as we're talking about personal development, to work on ourselves before we even start to even think about helping the people, because that's when you're talking about storytelling, and as Izu mentioned, organization, company, they will pay you thousands or even millions of pounds or dollars wherever you are, if they see that you are a man of confidence. You're a man of confidence, because that when it comes to sales, you need to have that sense of confidence, and that sense of confidence comes from working inwardly. There's a strategic approach that we tend to use in the field of business management: the inside out approach, and then the outside in approach. So the inside out approach is like you focus on your internal resources for you to gain a competitive advantage in the marketplace. So and then in the outside in, you design your strategy based on the insights. You focus on your target market audience, and you come inside and you use your resources. It's just not a food for thought. I've got several books that I'll be releasing the share and my training program. So, in other words, there's something called in market push, innovation dilemmas, market push versus market pull. So, market push, you focus your design for you to, for example, I want to sell a product. I've got a T-shirt, for example, and now the issue is to do with mental health. So I want to help people. Precisely, my target audience will be young people who are committing suicide. And then my design would have to be based on the issues affecting those kids, but not only them, and then using empathy that I didn't hear people mention about, but to put in a nutshell, empathy is putting yourself in the shoes of your target audience. And when you're designing a product or services or whatever thing you're trying to sell, you have to create a persona. And that persona is the definition and understanding of the emotions, the pain points your target audience, those specific markets that you're looking to address their issues. And for you to do that, you need to understand some of those significant factors. And I've done sales. I don't want to talk too much, but because of the time, I've done different types of sales. Albeit I can relate with you as well. I remember I fled a civil war crisis in Sierra Leone, and I've been in the UK for over 20 years. And you mentioned about accent, and there's something when it comes to living in an environmental factor, sometimes because situation that the nature of human being or socialization can influence you, and understand what you're talking about, identity. And I mentioned about this in my book. There were different factors that we have to look into when it comes to dialect, accent, and everything. So if we live in a global world, and the English that we speak is part of the culture of the African community, we cannot shy away from that. We cannot shy away from that, because otherwise we shouldn't be speaking English. So we need to learn to communicate and position ourselves beyond the African continent, so we tap into the global market, and then we empower our community within the African continent. And you say to them, do not kill your culture, embrace your culture, tap into this, because for you to fight the devil, you need to understand what they're doing. You need to be friends with them. You don't fight with them. You don't go against with them. That's just a food for thought. So that's just food for thought. So because we must let the negative emotions, and because I'm saying this with a passion. As I said, I didn't come here by my intent, by accident, by the intent of God. I embrace spirituality from within, and I come from a Muslim background, and then 7 years ago I dreamt of Christ, and I pursued religion. I had the limited mindset that, oh, Christ wanted me to become a Christian, not knowing that it was building my story for me to be the successful person I am. So I started reading the Bible and talking about sales. If we want to become a successful or
All
effective
right. Thank you so
speaker
much,
in
Amika Bokare. Definitely, we're going to come back to you because of time. We need to move also to other people, so at least they will be able to speak. I definitely will come back to you shortly. Okay, so hang around there. What he's saying is important, but just because for the sake of time, so that other people will also be able to contribute. I think the person that joined you after that was Anjo Benaji. Anjo Benaji, please, could you go ahead and share with us what you have to say relating to how better story can lead to more sales? And please be brief. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Bay, you come up with phenomenal topics. This is one topic which I have been in my professional career throughout, and I'm going to make it brief. First is, how would a flower to your view on Valentine's Day be wooing her which has no fragrance and smell? But at the same time, on your 25th wedding anniversary, were you to gift your wife a perfume, which is an average perfume? Well, God bless you. Now, I say this for one reason. There are three kind of people who make customers for sales and marketing. The first are impulsive people. Impulsive people who at the spur of the moment make a decision to buy something and think of it later. Now, the second are people who see the benefits. The features are all the same, but they see the benefits and the advantages which strike them as very nice. And the third is those customers who cannot afford it. They love it, they love everything, but they cannot afford it. And at this very juncture, I would like to share this with Mr. Eni. You don't know this. I never informed anybody, nor am I trying to take any credit to this. I informed my friends that if you want to publish a book, I created a need that if you're not doing it, maybe somebody else is. And I got 3 replies. They didn't fructify. Never mind. They didn't fructify for the third reason. They couldn't afford it. But that having said, when you get it easy in life, everything is hunky dory. But the people who cannot afford it, or people who say no, are actually the challenges which sales and marketing tells you. And that is the reason why professionally I am a sales strategist for multinationals in countries. Right from the beginning till it fructifies into business, I teach these things. I've been very impressed with the contributions of everybody here, and thank you very much. Time for the others. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, John Benanji. I appreciate your contribution. That is highly valuable. All right, I move to John Lobadi. I think you were the one that joined after that. Before we move to the next speaker, please go ahead and share with us.
Hello, my name is John Lombardi, and I'll be quick since we've gone long and I don't want to hold everyone up for too long. But thank you, Annie, for saying that I'm a great poet, because at the beginning of this call, I wrote a poem called Story, and it goes as such. What's a story, you may ask? Never put nobody, no one on blast. Tell a story, take them away, make them imagine it's a different day. Time and place, it matters not. Another poem joins the lot. Take them back before they exist. Always make sure you have a gist. A reason for the story. Why am I telling? Story's the greatest art of selling. And with and and with that, like I said, everyone's gotten very long. So I'm not trying to hold everyone up too much. So thank you very much. And also, sorry. And if you need writing, whether it be poetry, prose, like whatever you need, I'd be happy to connect and to further the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, John. We appreciate you. We appreciate you coming out here to air your view. This is what we are saying. You need everybody have a point of view, so it is important to know the world through your point of view. So thank you so much for that. All right, Toliloba, it is your time. Please share with us what you have to say about the topic of the day, which is how better storytelling can lead to more sales. And please be brief.
I said I appreciate you for the opportunity to speak on your space, and so many great ideas has been shared by all the people that have, bring out their points. Those that I met. All right. My name is Tobiloba, and I'm a copywriter. To keep it short, and I would like to just come in by saying this: that the way your name is different, and that's the way we buy is different. Right, we have different type of you are discussing about how storytelling can help you to generate more sales. Okay, so the way your name is different, that is how the way we buy is actually different. Okay, and you need to understand one thing, that one story or the other will resonate to one person or the other, and that's why we always talk about target market when we are talking about sales. There's something we call a niche, because you are not for everybody, you are for a particular set of people. So you need to understand the fact that you are just for one person, and then your story brings you to the spotlight of that particular problem that you're solving for a specific set of people should be communicated in such a way that will resonate with your target market. Okay, we have different type of buyers, and let me just say we have four type of buyers. We have something we call chief buyers, and these are cost conscious individuals. They are seeking for budget friendly options. So the kind of story you are going to talk about is when you are dealing with this kind of buyers will actually be different when you are talking to people who we call the difficult buyers. These people, they may be challenging to please or negotiate with. And when you're talking about talking to a difficult buyer, it's different from the way you would talk to a sophisticated buyers. All right, these people, they are processes of high level of knowledge and discernment in their business. They know what they want. Okay, all right, and the way you are going to talk to these people, it will be different from the way you talk to affluent buyers. So these are they are very financially well off individuals, so capable of making any decision in sales that they want to do. They want to buy anything because they have the money to purchase it. So you need to understand the fact that the story that you're going to give to people, what you are going to give to me, the way you talk to me that resonate with me, it has to do when you understand your target market, when you understand the problem that your particular the problem that your product or service is solving for a particular set of people, then your story, you can insert your story into this, and this you could be able to bring more sales to you. So you need to understand that fact. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak on your Mr. Obey.
All right, thank you so much for that. We appreciate you. That is also a highly important point that you have raised there. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so I would like to point a question to Hannah because I appreciate what you were sharing before, but I'd like you to sort of respond to a curiosity that I'm having in my mind just now, which is because of course we're talking about how better storytelling can lead to more sales. So the question was, why? Why does storytelling work so well as a selling tool? Of course, we're looking at it now as a tool. So, what would be your take on that?
Thank you so much, Obehi, for that question. Off like right top of my head, one reason that I would say that storytelling works compared to other forms of writing or other forms of content creation would be the fact that it's different. I feel like the people are getting tired of the generic type of content that they consume, and so when they see something that's different, they immediately are drawn to that. Aside of that, there is also the psychological part of storytelling, which appeals to people's emotions. A lot of the times, I mean, with the way that the consumer has grown over time, we are more aware of the tactics of the usual ad, which I know a lot of the times we scroll past now, immediately we see a sign of an ad. People even have ad blocks for a reason. And so people are saying, consumers are saying they are tired of the generic type of advertisement, of content. People want something fresh. People are in need of something that connects to them, something that they can see themselves in, something that they can relate to. And that's where storytelling comes into the conversation. It's able to not only appeal to the emotional side of the consumers, the customers, the ideal clients, whichever name or whichever term you want to describe them as, but it also connects to them beyond the layer of just, I want to sell something to you. It's more taking them on a journey and also providing them with a solution, like I said in the beginning, but positioning the solution and making it come from them, making them make that move. But it's not a I want from them. Is more, I am presenting you with an offer, and so you can choose it. So I'll say that that's the reason why storytelling is the right form of and the best form of sales and the most effective at the moment. And I have my clients to prove that this is not just me throwing around words. It works. People stop, read, stop, watch, stop and listen, and it's really effective. From then on, they're able to leave with whether or not they're gonna be a part of what you're proposing, or whether or not they're not going to be a part of that. But that's why it's your duty as a storyteller to effectively say the story or tell the story in a way that resonates and connects with the people that you're speaking to. I hope that answers the question, Obehi.
Yeah, it does. It does. I also like the fact that you're saying that the story needs to be told in a certain way. And of course, that should make a lot of sense now, because I think Annie did say something important before, that there is, storytelling for business is different from other type of story. They're not just the same. It's not like you just stand up and you begin to talk. And in your business storytelling, you need to know, what are your KPI? And what are you going to use as your element to evaluate whether the story that you are telling is working? You see, if you are maybe in the evening, you gather some people and you tell story, you don't really need to know what is the KPI of that particular story. Maybe everybody is tired now, you want to go away, we all go to our bed and sleep. But that is not business storytelling. In business storytelling, you know what you are aiming for. That is what you are going to use to evaluate whether that story is successful or not successful. So I think that is going to be very important, that when you are in an environment of business and you are telling story, it's a different ball game compared to the cock and bull story, or the story that you will use to entertain your friend because we are waiting for, you are in a bar, you have ordered something, the waiter is here to respond to you, you just throw in a story there. In a business environment, it's slightly different. All right, for Annie, I will have a question like this, because now we are telling businesses to leverage the power of storytelling, and we're even telling them that if you tell better story, you can make more sales. All right, let's look at that as one advantage. But what really are the key benefits for businesses who are using storytelling? What do they have to benefit for that?
I love that question. Before I answer it, Dr. Banerjee, let me thank you. Really, I love anyone who goes out of their way to help me get more clients and help me serve more people, for sure. I appreciate you, sir. John, great poem as well, my friend. I don't sing your praises for nothing. You proved why I say you're the poet amongst us, for sure. Now, Obehi, I think storytelling, it's a lot more than sales. Like I say, it says so much about your business. It says so much about you, as a person in business. When you can tell stories that are genuine, as Mr. Easer said, stories that are real, stories that are unique to you. So I mean, let's be clear. Stories come from our mission when we start our business. It comes from our mission. It's not just something that we pluck out of the air. After our mission statements, after our plans, our vision, our identifying our target audience, all that stuff that you have to do before you start a business, right? That's it. And then comes you actually serving people. You serving people, that creates your identity. It cements your identity. That Mr. Bukhari spoke about earlier. It really is a case of seeing storytelling as it's what we do, it's who we are. And of course you might tell a story to someone today and it doesn't convert. It doesn't mean all is lost, for sure. Because like you mentioned the casting earlier over here. If I'm going to buy something, you have to remember it. I have to actually physically remember it in my head. Oh, that's the one I was thinking about. Maybe I didn't buy it then, but and I might look at it again. There's a place for storytelling, for small businesses especially. If I'm going to buy, if people are going to be lazy, right? I think Tanya mentioned the Louis Vuittons of this world, the Nikes of this, like the big company, big brands. Lazy people will buy from them because it's the easy work, right? It's easy because they know what they're getting. They know what they think they're getting. They know the brand. They trust the brand. They've probably bought from that brand before, so they just make that choice. For us small businesses, we have to find a way to stick in people's minds. Only your stories make you stick in people's minds. And so, I mean, the way we stick in their minds over here is by appealing to that sense of emotion that people have. Let's be clear, right? Every customer that we secure is an achievement. Let's not kid ourselves, right? Now, asking someone to trust me with your money is a leap. It's a huge leap. So to have something that helps us to engage them, to help people make that judgment to say, yes, Hannah, I want to work with you. Storytelling gives you an advantage that others just don't have. So not only do you you cut through the clutter, right? You resolve the anxieties. You paint a picture of who you are. You show them your mission. You show them your values. You show them the work you've done before. You show them who you help. You show them where you're going. You show them how you can transform their lives because, hell, you've done it for other people, and you told them how you've done it for other people. Now, there's so much in telling stories over here beyond just the conversion. But the conversion is, if not today, then tomorrow is what the conversion should be, right? It must be there sometime. Otherwise, you're just telling stories, like you say, for fun. And in business, I don't think we've got too much time for fun, right? That's what answers the question over here.
Thank you so much for that. No, I really think that is very important. We don't have time to waste, particularly in business. We don't do cock and bull story. We need to know why we are telling the story, to whom we are telling the story, and what we expect from that story. We don't have time to do cock and bull story in business, except, of course, it's moving you somewhere because everything is connected to another thing, particularly in business where you are juggling with a lot of things. No, that is just the truth. For this reason, if you are going to use story, you must know what you are doing. That is important. It is assumed that you know that. All right, Remy, it is your time. So, what do you have to share with us? And please be brief on that. And it is how better storytelling can lead to more sales. Is it relevant to you? Share with us.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to see you again to attend your event, Hannah, Annie, and Sir Mentor Samuel. I'm so happy to have you here. You're a genius when we talk about storytelling. I have a few I have to give, and I'm going to be very fast. Stories are like a tool, like a wire you use to connect with your customers. You use to connect your product to your clients. Storytelling will never die because we are a story. Everybody is a story. Everything that is existing is a story. Our experience, when we experience something and we want to use it, we want to convert it to a product, it is a solution to the problem your customer is facing. So through that story, they will see the value in that product. That is, you earn it as more sales. I use storytelling to connect to my clients to tell them the value of my product and why I care, how much I care, and why I care, why they should trust this product. Because this is the story and this is their problem my product is solving. Storytelling is it's like the chain of emotion you build with your customers. They can only get to love this product because you tell them what this product is going to do for them. That's storytelling. They can get to keep that product in their mind, you in their mind, because of the memories they get from the stories you tell about that product. That is what storytelling does. They get to engage with that story for a long time because of the memories, the connectivity, the adaptability they get through the process of using that product because they trusted you through the story. A story can be a small book, a story can be a big book, a story can be a word. No matter how big and small it is a story. What you tell to sell that product, what you tell to connect with that customer. It's not just about the product, not just about you, not just about your brand, your logo, not just about the video. It is the story that backs that product that sells it and sells it again and again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that, Romy. We appreciate you. We appreciate your contribution. We appreciate the point that you have raised there. I believe that the people that are listening in the audience, and of course, those who are going to listen after, because we are recording this room like we do in all the room, they are going to have value for that. Thank you so much. All right, the time is spent, so we are moving towards the conclusion of that. Hannah, this is the final take. We are concluding the room, but the final take from you will be, we are talking about storytelling, how to use better storytelling to lead more sales in your business. So what would be your recommendation for businesses out there who are looking for ways to use storytelling in their business? Or it can even be a different take that you have, a kind of recommendation for the people listening to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I have two final points to give. So, to anyone listening interested in telling better stories, the first thing that I need you to do is, first of all, understand who you're telling your story to. Understand the heck out of your story's recipient, because it's so important to the process. If you do not know who you're speaking to, you cannot know what words appeal to them. You cannot know what scenarios to paint. You cannot know how best to convert them. So you need to first of all understand who you're telling your story to. That's the first thing that I feel like every business should know. The second point is you need to believe the story that you're telling, because a lot of people tell stories that they do not believe in, and it shows. Because when you're saying something that you do not know, or you're saying something that you're not sure about, you can communicate that in how people receive it. So believe your story, understand your story, be authentic with your story, so that when you're telling people, people can essentially feel the authenticity, feel the truthfulness in how you are conveying your story. But I want to say good luck to everyone out there, starting to tell stories. Send me a message if you're interested in navigating personal branding on LinkedIn. Such a pleasure to be here once again. Obehi, Izu, Annie, Abimbola, it's such a pleasure to be here with all of you. I hope everyone listening has an amazing time. Oh, I see you, Mr. Bukari, as well. It's a pleasure to have you speak. Romy, everybody that contributed, thank you all so much. Everybody that stuck around, thank you all so much. I hope you all have an amazing.
Annie, it's your turn. Please go ahead and leave the audience with your final take here.
Thank you so much. Yeah. The final take. I like that. I can say so many things, right? But I'll keep it simple because I think keep your story simple. Look, learn how to tell simple and effective stories. Right? Learn how to do so. I mean, here's a story for you, my friends. Our friend Carol runs an event called Men Are From Mars. Yeah, she does. I'll leave you with that. Now, literally, that's a story in itself, right? Suddenly, all of you are thinking, what the hell? Where's the rest of it? What's that really mean? What's that about? That's how you tell a story. That's captivating. And I haven't said much at all. And she said nothing as well, which takes me to Hannah's point. Learn how to tell stories, my friend. Obehi's books are there for a reason. Let's not ignore the things that can help us. If you need to talk to someone, again, Obehi's there, Hannah's there, Mr. Izu's there. I tend to write stories for books. I see you there as well. I tend to write people's stories in books to leave a legacy. So write your story. If you need help, get help. And finally, please live your story. Live your story. Don't just tell a story. Make sure that people understand your story is genuine. It's the reality. The more people believe that, my friends, it'll be so much easier for you to do business. You don't chase people. The best people, literally, people come to them because they know the story, they see the story, they believe the story, and that's just how stories can really work for you. If you never learn how to tell stories over here, then it sounds like we're just talking. But we know stories work every day, and stories don't have to be a long Jack and Jill story. Best brands have Nike, let's do it. Or just do it. That's 3 words, right? Coca-Cola has a similar thing. They come up with very different stories every so often. So learn to tell your story, and then actually be that person. Actually exemplifies what you say you believe and what you say you do. I'll leave you that over here.
Thank you so much. It cannot be better than that. It cannot be better said than that. I don't know if Izuri is still there. Otherwise, we are concluding.
All right, because I'd like to listen to what the rest of the speakers said. Mr. Eni, Mr. Rumi, Buklere, Hannah, and Mr. John. But this is what I am going to say. My final thoughts in this conversation today is that people don't buy products. People don't buy products. People buy you. People don't buy products. People buy you. Organizations don't just hire your qualifications, they hire you. And you, I'm talking about you who can hear my voice. And the question is, what are you that someone can invest tons of thousands of dollars or pounds or naira into you? What are you? What have you become? Because if you end up your life trying to please everybody, trying to be liked by everybody, trying to be loved by everybody, you would have ended a great percentage of your life living a life that is not even worth living. The truth would always bite you in the ears, but that is just the fact. So be what can attract something great. I'm going to say that again. Be what can attract something fantastic and irresistibly great into your life. Thanks a lot, Mr. Obehi, for the opportunity to be on this platform. I don't take it for granted. I'm a man of honor. And I appreciate you so much. May this platform continue to rise from glory to glory. I just sounded like a pastor, but I'm not a pastor. Over to you, Mr. Obehi.
Thank you so much, Izu. Thanks to all of you. You see, this is why we are here. We keep each other's company and we learn from our experiences. This is very important. Leveraging the power of storytelling in our business. You know, story help you to even create a vision for the people. But if you manage to believe in that vision, then people can buy into it. And when people buy into it, then it becomes their vision too, and they lead you. Can we imagine the big companies out there that people will say, for example, I want to talk about Apple again, where maybe you will present in a good PC that is produced by another company. They will tell you, no, I'm waiting for Apple because that is my company. You see, they are not just buying the product like Izu just said. They are buying into the dream, the vision that have been sold into them. This is what storytelling can help us to do, in that we make people believe in something bigger than us, something bigger than our company. Then it becomes also their vision. In this way, we can go far. Story can help us to do this.